Well, we knew this was coming, but now it is official.
What was once a threat is now a reality.
The bill upon reconsideration is not passed.
A series of votes, all designed to fund the government, failed overnight.
Which means the federal government is now shut down. Now, over the past 48 hours, I've been getting a lot of questions as to whether or not this program or that program is going to be defunded. Are we going to see mass layoffs? What's President Trump's plan? Well, I'm here to tell you what's going to happen with SNAP benefits. SNAP benefits. People get nutrition assistance every single month. Millions of people receive this. And there is now questions whether or not this money is going to go out. So let's get right down to it. If you are currently receiving SNAP benefits, this is a video you need to watch because a government shutdown can affect you in the very near future. But just look at this. It says, the government shutdown. Federal funding ends after Trump and the GOP Democrats fail to cut a deal. Right now, all members of Congress are dug in. They do not want to blink first because the Trump administration is telling Democrats, well, you need to have 7 senators vote with us to pass our bill, or else we are shutting the government down, which we just did. And then we could see some extensive layoffs, some firings, if you will. That could happen very soon. Democrats say, no, we are not going to side with you guys because if we do, we know you're just going to lay off employees in the future and you're not going to listen to our side. Well, that's where we're at. But look at this. We do have some good news, but also some bad news. The big question, though, first off, would SNAP benefits and WIC be disrupted by a government shutdown? The answer is yes and no. Are these programs going to be impacted and disrupted in the month of October? The answer is no. But in the month of November, things could be very different. Look at this. Here's part of the good news, bad news. It says right here, good news for SNAP beneficiaries as the maximum benefit could increase by up to 2.8% for 2026. Guess what? The cost of living adjustment for SNAP benefits, it starts today on October 1st because this is the first day of fiscal year 2026, meaning you could actually receive a $20 to $30 increase on your benefits. Yeah, so that's the good news. Here's the bad news, okay? Again, if you receive SNAP benefits, this is something that you need to understand. First off, as far as SNAP goes, as far as the EBT program, all that, there could be some administrative functions that are disrupted or delayed because of this government shutdown. Okay, things like processing new applications. This is something that likely is going to be disrupted. Changing your address if you move. Don't move right now because by changing your address, you're likely not going to receive benefits because they will not process that information in a timely manner. The renewing eligibility, if you need to renew your eligibility at this time, this is something that could definitely be disrupted. Okay, definitely be disrupted. And then handling disputes. For instance, let's say you were supposed to receive a 2.8% cost of living adjustment, but you look at your new benefit amount and it's the exact same. If that's the case, you need to handle that dispute. The problem is there's not going to be enough people there to actually handle that dispute. So you have some issues there. But here's what this means for SNAP, okay? SNAP benefits are normally allocated to their states, to the respective states, ahead of the month they're being paid. So for the month of October, the federal government would have sent the money to every single state by the end of September. So the states would already have that funding. Now it's up to the states to distribute that to the respective beneficiaries. Okay. Here's the issue. In the short term, so the month of October, we're good, right? Everything's settled. The month of November, though, that's the big question mark. And it's not because the federal government doesn't have the money, okay? They have some money. They like to call that a contingency funding plan, which they have it. It's their reserves. So the SNAP program does have some reserves saved up that they can use. The problem is, do they have enough? That's where some reports are almost speculating that, well, they do have enough, but they're not going to send it all out because they want to pretty much, draw it out, ration the money. So this is what they say. If the government shutdown continues beyond that initial buffer of 1 month, there's real risk that benefits could be delayed. They could also be reduced, or they can be suspended if Congress does not reauthorize funding. According to the USDA, they state that they have around 1 month's worth of contingency funding, and that's it. So, here's where we go from here. First off, this is a problem because the contingency funding was the old funding, not with the additional 2.8% cost of living adjustment. So more money is going to go out this month than they were expecting last month. So that's a little bit of an issue. The other issue, and again, it's a big one, is we don't know how long this government shutdown is going to last. Right now, all sides are locked in. They do not want to side with the other side. For instance, Democrats don't want to help Republicans pass their bill because according to the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, he says that's a highly partisan bill, that they never spoke to him. Okay, they never came and talked to the other side, whether it was in the House or the Senate. Republicans never came and talked to Democrats about, well, what do you want? Republicans know what Democrats want, and Republicans say, no, we are not going to be strong-armed into taking that deal because that's not a good deal. That's just going to create more waste, fraud, and abuse. As a result, they're going to stand firm that no, this is the bill we're going to pass, so when Democrats get on board, we'll pass it. Otherwise, we're going to stay as is. Which means this government shutdown, the longest one in history was 35 days. This was back in 2018, 2019, when President Trump, that was his first term in office. We'll see what's going to happen. But President Trump is adamant that no, we are not going to pass just some random government funding bill just to ensure that Democrats somewhat get their way. So we'll see what happens there. Last thing I want to leave you with, though. If you are currently receiving SNAP benefits, just understand right now that this money is not going to last if the government shuts down. Eventually, there's going to be no money to distribute to the beneficiaries, meaning your SNAP benefits are going to go to zero. Here's the other thing, okay? Just want to point this out. You will have to use your own money to pay for food if your account goes to zero and you don't receive anything in November. But here's the only good news. That SNAP benefits will do back pay. There will be retroactive payments. So if you don't get your money in November and the government opens back up in December, they will send out a December payment and a November payment. The only problem is, and this is where the lowest income earners are the ones that get hurt the most, is they may not have enough money to put food on the table for a month. And that's a concern. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of days and several weeks. But as of right now, that's what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.